everybody. Welcome. Well, as soon as I want to start, Tabby chimes in. I was trying to wait to get Tabby in here, and she didn't want to come in here until I got started, wouldn't you know? But anyway, usually I play this Sunday Basic Sunday game as a recording that I've done earlier in the week. Hello, Trin. Usually that's what I do. But today it's a little bit different because I also have an unboxing to go along with it. I don't know if you recognize this logo or not, but it is from Barnes & Noble. So this may give you an idea of what's coming. I broke down and got the Barnes & Noble special, Strat-O-Matic Barnes & Noble special game, exclusive as they call it. And I'll show you the receipt, exactly what I paid for it. It was $69.99 plus $4.20 in tax. So I paid $74.19 for it. I also got a coupon that came inside of it for 75% off the additional players with free shipping. So the additional players plus shipping, which was free, but additional players and tax turned out to be $7. I think it was $7 and something or other. So basically $81, $82 is what I paid to get this game with the 2025 cards and the additional players with no shipping costs whatsoever, because I went to Barnes & Noble and got this myself. And the other games will be coming, the other cards will be coming shortly, I hope, anyway. All right, so when we open it up, Barnes & Noble has a tape on the box. So let's see if I can get that off without messing the box up. Ah, boy. They did oh, crap. And see, as soon as I try to take this tape off of here, it's peeling off the box. So I've already messed that up apparently, because I'm gonna have to leave the tape on, because if I pull this tape off, it's taking the part of the box with it. So if you get this thing in the future, be aware of that. If you try to pull this thing off, and try it from down here, but I don't see, if you try to pull it off, it's going to take some of the cardboard with it and the paint. So I'm just going to leave this on here. As annoying as it is, I'm going to leave it on here. Yes, Ben, this is live. Yes, hello, Oz P. So for anybody, if they happen to get this from Barnes & Noble's, the tape on here, if you try to pull it off, you're going to start pulling off some of the artwork. You can see down here, if I try to pull this off, you will see that it's pulling. You see right here, underneath here, it's pulling that off. So that's one thing I didn't like about what they just done here, because if you try to take the tape off, it's going to mess up the box. So the only thing I can do is leave it on here the way it is and try to do an unboxing this way, which is a little bit awkward, but we'll try it. And we turn it around this way. And you can see the cards usually come in sheets where they're 9 long, but for this, they've cut these, and I really like, I hope they would do these going future, but they're in packs of 3. Like I said, usually when you have the cards and you get them on the sheets, they're sheets of 9, but these are sheets of 3 for the 2025 set. So I've got those, and like I said, I've already ordered the additional players. That cost me, I think it was $7 for the additional players after the 75% off discount and free shipping. And of course, you get the roster sheet, and all these additional players will be coming with that eventually. Got the weather effects and non-weather effects stadium for that. Of course, we get our rubber bands, tokens, and standard red and white dice. Kind of a unique D20. It's kind of an interesting font on the D20. See how that does. That's a kind of an interesting looking D20. Don't know how that's, going about, but anyway. And then underneath you've got the basic stuff that comes with all the games. Of course, the game board is the one that's let me back this up a little bit. I can't get any further back, so I'll have to try to raise this up a little bit. There is the game board right here. Got the place for the outs here. You got the place for the pitcher card here, and base runners and stuff here. And it's vertical more so than horizontal, so it's not going to take up as much room. If I try to stream, I may use this for my basic game tonight because it's not going to take up as much room. So I may do that. I'm not sure. Advanced strategy chart. Obviously, the old one is that red one, but this is a different look to it. It's got the green on here. Same information, just put it in there differently. I was surprised when I went there. I went there on a whim. I was assuming they weren't going to have this, but there were 2 of these on the shelf. And so I was fortunate enough to get one. And here is the advanced strategy chart again in 2 pieces. So again, so it can fit in this box. Everything is going, in pieces here, which I think it would be nice if Strat did this going forward. That would be kind of cool, I think. There's a basic chart that did not change. Unfortunately, neither did the Super Advanced. It's still the paper fold-up crappy stuff or whatever. The rules are all the same. Everything else is still the same. You got the score sheets and all that stuff. But fair warning, if you do happen to buy this, then it is taped on the side, and if you try to pull that tape off, it will tear part of the carton, part of the artwork and stuff. So you will see degradation there for sure. Tabby's down here trying to get in my way. So I'm going to remove all of this. I am going to keep the D20 and the D6s and the little markers for our game today. Tabby, no, get out of there. Hey, I gotta move that bag. She's trying to get into, no. All right. So we will get this game going here very shortly, but I want to use the accoutrements that came with the game and see how it plays out using it. That's why I didn't do a recording of Sunday Basic Sunday for consumption this afternoon. That's why I did it this way, because I knew I was going to be trying to get this, and if I did get this, then that would be a thing. Let's see. I don't know if this is not that they're numbered or anything, but it's something about a batch number that's on here. BB26A. I don't know. It was a unique code that I used, that I was able to use for the 15% off the extra players. So what I'm going to try to do here, and we'll see how it plays out if I can get it to work right. I will see about doing a game on here. This overhead light's probably going to have to go because of the glare. But I'm thinking about doing that, getting it, trying to get everything in the frame here, the whole board. So I think that's about as good as I'm going to do with that. We have a token here for the outs. We have tokens for the base runners. We got our dice, and I've got my little dice tower. That didn't change. Still have my little dice tower here. Got my score sheet on the side, but it will be to the side. I'm going to keep the basic fielding chart right here. Got my rule book and everything else. But the game is between the Milwaukee Braves and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Lou Burdett against Don Drysdale. That'll be the matchup. So let me get the cards out and get them going. There are the envelopes that were holding the cards. Dodgers 102-63, Braves 86-76. Yes, Dr. D, this came from Barnes and Nobles. And if you're wondering about how much it cost me, there is the receipt right there. That's what it cost me, $74.19. And then the extra players cost me roughly right around $7 when they put in the code and they figure out the state tax or whatever. Mine was $7, and I think it was $7.11 or something like that. Not sure. Don't quote me on the exact amount, but it's reasonably close. All right. So let me get these guys in the right spot. There is Don Drysdale. And you can see this spot here is right there for the opposing pitcher. I guess that's the way Strat has designed it. Like I said, I don't know. This is my first time using it, so I have no idea how it's going to look. And we'll get the Milwaukee Braves out. Yeah, I actually went in and ordered the 25. I did a mock order for the 25 seasons with the 25 the game parts with the 25 set and the additional players and the shipping, and it was like $115 or something. So I basically saved $30 something and got a better board, in my opinion. That's just how that goes. I admit that some of these guys, I don't know their names. Never heard of them before. Most of them on the Braves I have, but there's a couple guys I have not. Most notably, leadoff man, Howie Bedell. I've never heard of Howie Bedell. But we'll put Howie Bedell right here. We'll put the batters right there, I guess. And, of course, we got, like I said, we have our tokens here like that when they get on base. The only thing it doesn't show here, or the only thing they don't have on here, is a score. But, I've got that right off this camera here, so I can always show that every inning if need be. So it's Don Drysdale against Lou Burdette for the Milwaukee Braves. So let's get them over there and this over here. And is there anything else I need? I need I really don't want to use that thing that came with it. I'm going to use this for right now because I'm familiar with it. So I'm going to stick with that. So let's see how this how these dice look in this thing here with this setup here. And I'll do these one at a time, probably better. So Howie Bedell, like I said, I don't know anything about Howie Bedell. I don't even know if I've heard the name before. Some of you guys probably have. But we're ready to go, and I'm going to roll the D20 only when necessary. And we will get things going here. Drysdale to Bedell. Get a 6-7, and that's going to be a 1-3 single. Anything else, he lines it to second. And that's a 4, so he lines it to second base. And there's one away. So one down, and that brings up the right fielder, Mac Jones. And we get a 6-8, and that's a strikeout for Drysdale. Out number 2. 2 up, 2 down, and that's going to send up Joe Adcock, first baseman. I've heard of him, obviously. Well, not obviously, but I have heard of him. And we get a 6-4, and that's going to be a pop out to third base. So all 3 results coming off of Drysdale's card. And, of course, it was to his advantage. So that'll send up Lou Burdette to get on the mound for the Braves. And he'll be facing the speedster, Maury Wills. I think it's better to put the things over here. That way I'm not getting into that. So Maury Wills is up. I don't know if I can get a little bit closer or not. Let's see here. Try to get a little bit closer if I can. I think that's about the best I'm going to do with it. I think you can see the cards fairly decent. All right, here's Wills. 5-11 for Burdette, and that's a ground ball first base X. Go to our fielder chart. Basic fielding chart, first base, and first baseman is Joe Adcock. He's a 3. So we're in this middle column. And we get a 19. 3-19 says a 2-base error on Joe Adcock. 3-19 is a 2-base error on Joe Adcock. And Maury Wills is at second base with nobody out. Not a good start for the Milwaukee Braves. Brings up Jim Gilliam, second baseman. 5'8", and that's a pop out to third base, one away. Interesting they chose yellow because it used to be red all the time, but actually yellow I think you can see a little bit better because you already have enough red on the board anyway. And it does say 2026 Strat-O-Matic LLC, whatever. All right, here is Tommy Davis. That's a 2-6 for Davis. And he grounds it to third with an A, so with the runner not being forced, he will have to hold. And there's 2 away. So it's going to be up to Wally Moon. Wally Moon, the right field, or left fielder, actually. And we get a 5-8. And Burdette, that's a pop up to third. And that will end the inning. So Burdette pitches around the 2-base error on Joe Adcock. And we go to the top of the second. No score. Leading off for the Braves will be Hank Aaron, or Henry Aaron, however you want to look at him. Hello, D. Scott. Good to see you. Hello, Scott Johnson. Good to see you. You know, I almost bought both of them. But I didn't see any reason to do that. So I was fortunate they had 2 in store and I bought one. So I went there on a whim, just hoping they would have it. I was going to visit my mother anyway, and this was only about 10 miles out of the way from her house. So it wasn't that, I didn't really make a super special trip for it. But anyway, just got fortunate it was there. That's all. Hello there, Clinton. Here's Hank Aaron, and that's going to be a 3-10 for Hank. And he gets a base hit, leadoff single for Hank Aaron. And in case you're curious, I am keeping score here on the side. So Hank Aaron with a leadoff single. He's a B stealer. Roseboro is a 2-rated catcher. So I don't like the odds of him trying to steal, especially with Eddie Matthews coming up. So we're going to let Eddie Matthews swing away. Actually, what I need to do, hopefully not mess the board up, is sliding around on me an awful lot. So maybe I'll try to tape it down very slightly, and hopefully it won't, when I pull that tape off, it won't do what it did to the box. All right, here's Eddie Matthews. 1-8 for Eddie Matthews, and that is a strikeout. First out of the inning, second strikeout for Drysdale. And that'll bring up Frank Bowling. Bowling is the second baseman in this game. And that's a 1-8 for Bowling. That's a single 1-18. 19-20, he lines it to third. And that's a base hit, 1 star. Puts runners at first and second with only 1 out. And that brings up Joe Torre. Catcher Joe Torre. Joe Cacciatore. He's a catcher and he's a Torre, so he's a Joe Cacciatore. 4-6 on Drysdale. That's a fly ball to right, 2 down. So now it's going to be up to Roy McMillan. Roy McMillan, the shortstop, number 8 hitter, 110. Grounds it back to Drysdale to end the inning. So a couple of hits, but nothing to show for it. Bottom of the second, no score from Dodger Stadium. Coming up for the men in blue, it is John Roseboro, catcher. .511 is a ground ball first base X now. Adcock had a 2-base error his first time. Let's see if he can do better this time. That's a 13-3. That's out with no runners on base 4, but nobody's on base, so it's just simply going to be an out. I'll count it as a 3-1 put out as he flips it to Burdette, covering. Yeah, Scott, I couldn't get this to show on the website. That's why I had to drive there on faith, because on the website it doesn't show that it's there. But they did have 2 in store, so I know there's at least 1 left as of 1 o'clock this afternoon. There was 1 left. So whatever. I don't imagine. I don't know. I just don't see a lot of Barnes and Noble customers as being Strat-O-Matic customers. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It just seems like a I don't know, like oil and water to me. Whatever. Here's Ron Fairley. That is 4-6, and that's going to be a 1-18 double. 19-20 is a single, and that'll be a 19. So he will settle with the single. Ron Fairley, a 1-out single. That will bring up Darryl Spencer. Never heard of him. He is the third baseman. That is a 3-8. And Spencer, ground ball third base A. That's a double play. 5-4-3 around the horn to end the inning. And after 2 complete, no score from Los Angeles. Due up for the Dodgers, it'll be the pitcher, Lou Burdette. He is using pitcher hitting card number 2. See what he does in that situation. 2-8, and that's going to be a strikeout. Third strikeout for Mr. Drysdale. And I keep wanting to say Mr. Drysdale in that Jed Clampett Southern drawl, but I'll refrain. Here's Howie Bedell. 3-6, and that's a pop out to second base. 2 down. 2 down, and here is Mac Jones. The other thing I need to figure out with the 25 is what I'm going to do with the set. Hello, Midlife. Thinking about, I'm not going to do a Demolition League type thing because I don't really go through all those games. But I might pick one team, if I can pick one team, and maybe play a season, go through a season replay with them. I haven't done that with a single team replay in a while. Just that way I can focus on one team. 4-8. Who knows what I'll do with it? I don't know. 4-8. Fly ball to center field. And that's out number 3. Easy inning for Drysdale. We go to the bottom of the third. No score. Leading off will be Willie Davis, center fielder for the Los Angeles Dodgers, followed by Drysdale. Uh, 1-3, and that is a walk. Willie Davis will draw the walk. He is an A stealer, but you have the pitcher up too, so you can bunt him over. He is using pitch hitting card number 3, but still, either way, the bunt is more the efficient thing to do. So we're going to have Drysdale bunt, and in basic, it's just simply rolling the 2d6. There's no ratings involved. You get a 3, and it says batter beats out bunt. How about that? So Drysdale tried to sacrifice and ends up beating it out for a base hit. First and second, nobody out. And here's Maury Wills. Wills may be bunting. I think he's going to bunt. So Maury Wills is going to bunt. Try to get the runners to second and third. That's a 2, so he's going to beat it out. There's the fallacy of the basic game right there. You're not going to have 2 bunt singles on sacrifices that are going to go for base hits like that in the advanced and super advanced. But in basic, anything goes. So Jim Gilliam is up with the bases loaded and nobody out. I believe 62, they were in Dodger Stadium. I'm pretty sure they were. Pretty sure they started in 58 in the Coliseum, but I think by 62 they were in Chavez Ravine. So here's Gilliam. Infield is back for the double play. They need outs. That's a 5-5. He really needs a strikeout. But how about that? That's a home run. Do you believe that? 5-5 is a home run. So it's a grand salami for Jim Gilliam. Grand slam home run, Jim Gilliam. It's 4-0 Dodgers. 4-0 Dodgers. And ironically, Jim Gilliam has weak power. That would have been a 2-run single in the advanced and super advanced. But in basic, even I can hit a home run in basic. So, all right, here's Tommy Davis. That's a 210, and that's going to be a ground ball to third. Finally one away. And that'll send up Wally Moon. And that's a 4-6. And for Burdette, that's a 1-18 double. 19-20 is a single. And that's a double for Wally Moon. Double for Moon. And that'll bring up Johnny Roseboro. Ron Fairley on deck. 5-2, and it's a pop out to second base. 2 down. 2 down, and Ron Fairley, the batter, first baseman. Six, and that's a strikeout for Burdette to end the inning. But 4 runs come in, courtesy of the grand slam home run from Jim Gilliam, despite the fact he has weak power. It did not matter. So we go to the top of the 4th. Drysdale now has a 4-run lead to work with. And that will bring up Joe Adcock. 2-7 for Adcock. That's a split. 1-6 is a double, but 7-20 is a single. So Joe Adcock gets a leadoff single. He's aboard for Hank Aaron as the Braves try to battle back. Hank Aaron. And that is a 1-12 for Aaron. That's a ground ball to shortstop, double-A, plus injury. I'm not doing injury, but it will be a Giovanni's tailor-made double play, 6-4-3. Giovanni's Tailor Shop in Lemoyne, Pennsylvania. If you're in the area and you have tailoring needs, give them a visit. Tell them Demo sent you. They'll give you a discount. They are the unofficial sponsor of the channel, but the official sponsor of the Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play of the game. Here's Eddie Matthews. 1-5 for Matthews. That's a 1-3 double. 4-20 is a single. And that is a single for Eddie Matthews, a 2-out single. But the double play really took the starch out of him. And now that brings up Frank Bowling. He's bowling for base hits. That white die didn't go through the thing there, so let's redo that. There we go. 5-8, and that's a ground second base X. We're looking at Gilliam. Gilliam is a 3. So we're at second base and a 3. And we get a 5. 3 and a 5 is an out 3. It doesn't matter. It's the third out of the inning. So we'll just call it a 4-3 ground out to be done with it. And that'll do it for the Braves. Double play really took it out of them. Bottom of the 4th we go. Burdette back out there. He'll face Darryl Spencer. 1-6 for Spencer, and that's going to be a base hit. Spencer leadoff single. He's no threat to run. Here's Willie Davis with Drysdale on deck. 1-4 for Davis. That's a fly ball to right. 1 away. And now Drysdale will bunt again with the runner at first. So again, we bring out the bunt chart. And this time we get a 4. So it's a good sacrifice to the pitcher, and Burdette will throw him out. Going to second is going to be Spencer goes to second. And we'll call it 1-4 on the sacrifice. do with my tape? I messed up something up. I can't find it. Oh, there it is. Fix that. So 1 out, runner at second in the form of Spencer, and back to the top of the order for none other than Maury Wills. Wills 1-5, and that is a walk. I'll put runners at first and second. 1 out. Looking for more. Here's Gilliam. He had the grand slam his last time up. Trying to really put this thing away, apparently. 5-8, and that's a pop up to third. Out number 2. And it's up to Tommy Davis. Davis is the right fielder. 4-11, and Burdette on the 4-11s. Ground ball back to Burdette to end the inning. And that will do it for the Dodgers. No runs for them. We go to the 5th. Still 4-0. Drysdale will be facing Joe Torre to lead things off in the top of the 5th. Braves can't get anything going. Hello, Triple G. Good to see you. 6-5. 6-5 for Drysdale. 1-5 is a home run. 6-20 will be a double for Torrey. And that's a 9. So Torrey with the leadoff double. Trying to get something cooking for the Braves. We'll bring up McMillan. That's a 2-4 for McMillan, and that's going to be a walk. So all of a sudden, first and second, nobody out, and Burdette, the pitcher, is up, and Burdette's going to try to bunt the runners over. So Burdette using pitch rating card number 2, but that doesn't matter for the bunt. We just need this for the bunt. And we get a 9. 9 says batter is safe. Lead runner is thrown up by catchers. How about that? Fielder's choice. Roseboro throws Torrey out at third. So it's going to go 2-5 on the fielder's choice. And now there's 1 away. Runner's still at first and second for Howie Bedell. A 196 hitter. He had 138 at bats. Played left and center field. Pretty decent with his range, but high error ratings. It's a 3-8 for Bedell. He struck him out. And for Drysdale, that is strikeout number 4. Out number 2 of the inning, and now it's up to Mac Jones. He had the leadoff double, but nothing else has come of it. And now Mac Jones, right fielder, trying to cash in. 4-7, and he will not. Drysdale strikes him out, and that's going to end the inning. So the leadoff double doesn't amount to anything. Braves come away empty-handed again. And we go to the bottom of the 5th. And we are looking at Wally Moon. It'll be Moon, Roseboro. Moon, Roseboro, and Fairley due up. That's a 6-3, and Burdette fly ball left field X. We're looking at the outfield chart. And left fielder is Bedell, and Bedell is a 2. So in left field, we're using this column, number 2. He rolls a 13. 2 and a 13 is an out. That's all they need. That's all it has to be registered, is just a fly to left. And Wally Moon is out of there. Brings up Roseboro. Roseboro 5-7. That's a single 1-16. Lines out 17-20. That's a base hit for Roseboro. And that'll send up Ron Fairley again. Tomorrow morning, back to our regularly scheduled programming, 1987 American League Super Advanced. Roughly 9 o'clock Eastern, between 9 and 9:15 Eastern. Let's see, 5-7 is a 1-16. I think it's the same roll we just had. 1-16, 17-20. And it's a single again for Ron Fairley, 1 star. 1 star for Fairley. Runners at first and second with one out for Darryl Spencer. That is a 6-6, and that's going to be a strikeout for Burdett. Only his second strikeout of the game. 2 down for Willie Davis with Drysdale on deck. That's a 2-6 for Willie, and he strikes out to end the inning. So nothing doing there after a couple of hits. Burdett pitches around it. We go to the top of the 6th. Still 4-0 Dodgers based on the grand slam in the 3rd inning by Jim Gilliam. And that brings up Joe Adcock. And I don't know what you guys think of this board, but it's different, that's for sure. I like that it's more vertically and less horizontally. It takes up less space, easier to show. One 4 for Adcock, and he's going to draw a base on balls. So leadoff walk to Adcock. Braves are getting base runners, but can't cash them in. Here comes Hank Aaron. Aaron hitting to a costly double play his last time up, trying to avoid the same fate. 4-6, and that's a fly to right, 1 away. Brings up Eddie Matthews. 6-11, that's a ground ball first base C, so the runner will advance. First baseman Fairley, his only play is to flip to Drysdale covering. And going to second will be Hank Aaron. So 2 outs, Aaron at second base. And Frank Bowling. 6-7, that's a 1-3 single, 4-20 for a line out. And he lines to second to end the inning. So that'll do it for the Braves. They come away empty-handed again. They're making Don Drysdale look like he might legitimately belong in the Hall of Fame, which I don't think he does, but you can argue that all you want, but I don't think so. I think he's Hall of Good, but not Hall of Fame. Here is Drysdale, the batter. 5-5, and that's a home run off of Burdett. Drysdale's going to hit a home run off of Burdett. That's the second time that 5-5 has cost Burdett runs. 5-5 is a straight-up home run, and it's now 5-0 Dodgers. Brings up Maury Wills. 6-6, and that's a strikeout. That is the 4th strikeout for Burdett. 1 away. And that will send up Jim Gilliam. That is a 2-5 for Gilliam, and that's a single. Straight out single for Gilliam. The stealer, but up 5-0. I don't think they're going to steal. Here's Tommy Davis. That's a 5-7, and that's a single one. But we hit this roll a few times too. 1-16 single, and that will be yet another single. So they're just piling on the hits on poor Lou Burdett. They want to get Burdett through this inning because he is scheduled to bat 3rd next inning. So they want to get him at least 6 innings if possible. Here's Wally Moon. 3-5 for Moon. That's a double 1-15. Single 16-20. That's a single, but it is 2 stars. So that'll put runners on the corners and a run will score. It's now 6-0 favor of the Dodgers. And they may not be able to keep going with Burdett much longer. Let's look at the Atlanta I know it's going to call them Atlanta. Let's look at Milwaukee's bullpen and see who they have available. According to what I'm seeing here, they have Don Notabart, Hank Fisher, Don McMahon, Bob Buell. Who else do they have? Let's see here. Carl Willie, never heard of him. Cecil Butler, Ron Pichet, maybe is how it said. Bob Henley. Tony Cloninger. I think Cloninger is a starter mostly. And Bob Shaw, who's mostly a starter, so I doubt we use him. But they've got a plethora of guys to go to. And let's see what they want to do here. They're going to go, even though it's basic and lefty-righty doesn't matter, we're going to manage like it does. So they're going to go to a lefty to face the left-handed hitting Roseboro, who's up next. So let's look and see who's left-handed in the Milwaukee bullpen. And that will be Bob Henley. He's the only lefty out there. Bob Henley, he's a starter, but we're gonna let him. He's got relief ratings, so we're gonna let him in here. So Bob Henley will come in and pitch for the Milwaukee Braves. See, I called them Atlanta and the Brewers. I messed up twice. So we're gonna have Henley. Henley will come on and pitch, and it looks like we might have a double switch, or will we? No, they're going to let Henley pitch, get out of this inning, then go to somebody else. So Henley will face Roseboro. Runners are at the corners and 1 out. They're playing for the double play. 4-7, and that's a single, 1-15. Line out 16-20, and that's a single. That'll score another run. It's now 7-0 Dodgers. And that'll bring up another lefty, Ron Fairley. Still only 1 out. That's a 4-5, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. So we're going to McMillan, who's a 2. McMillan is a 2. So we're looking here in the shortstop under the number 2. Roll a 4. 2 and a 4 is an out 1, and out 1 down here says runners advance, so it's like a ground ball C. So runners will go to second and third, as the only play McMillan had was to go to first base. 2 outs now with runners at second and third, and Darryl Spencer, the batter. And that's a 4-9, and that's a ground ball to second base C, and that will end the inning finally. 3 runs for the Dodgers. They lead at 7-0 as we go to the 7th inning. That'll be it for Henley, as he is going to bat third this inning. So we'll get a new pitcher for him and a pinch hitter for him as well. We go to the top of the 7th with Joe Torre. It'll be Torre, McMillan, and a pinch hitter. And we'll look on the bench for the Milwaukee Braves and see who they have active on their roster at this point in time, which is right around opening day. And we'll see who they have listed as potential pinch hitters, assuming I have them out here. Well, we shall see. Here's Joe Torre. That's a 6-6, and that's going to be a 1-6 double. 7-20 is a single, and that's a base hit for Joe Torre. Torre 2 for 3 brings up Roy McMillan, but they just can't get anything going. 6-8, and that's a strikeout for Drysdale, and that is his 6th strikeout. Now we need a pinch hitter for the pitcher. So we'll go to the bench, and they will turn to Ken Aspermonte. We'll pinch hit. Aspermonte. So he pinch hits here in the 7th with a man on and 1 out. That's a 3-6. That's a base hit. One, and there's no stars there, but down 7-0. You're playing station to station. So Aspermonte gets a pinch hit single. Back to the top for Howie Bedell. 5-7, and that's a triple 1-2, single 3-20, and that's a 3. So it'll be a single 2 stars, but the Braves are finally on the board. RBI single from Howie Bedell, scores Torrey and moves Aspromonte to third with only 1 out. They're finally on the board. It's 7-1, and now we turn to Mac Jones. 312 for Jones. Ground ball pitcher A. That's going to be a 1-6-3 twin killing, and that will take care of that. We go to the 7th inning stretch, and we need a new pitcher for Milwaukee. And we'll see who they might want to go to. Milwaukee. And that's going to be it for Drysdale. He bats third this inning, or second this inning. So they're going to go ahead and cap him at 7 innings, being it's his first start of the year. And he's got a big lead. So look at the bench, or the bullpen rather. They're going to go out and get Don Notabart, will the Milwaukee Braves. He will come on and pitch. Notabart. And due up, it will be Willie Davis to start things off for the Dodgers, followed by Drysdale. Would have been followed by Drysdale, but it'll be a pinch hitter instead. And we'll see who they got on the bench. But first we'll get the at-bat for Willie Davis. Oh, that didn't go through. Let's try that again. There we go. 1-9 for Willie Davis. Oh, that's a 1-10 triple. And that's a 13. So that will be a, let's see, a single. No, yeah, single for Willie Davis. Davis will single. You know what? We're going to have Drysdale bat. I changed my mind. We're going to have him bat. He uses batting card number 3. This is 1962, not 2022. So we're going to have him swing away here. 2-3. Ground ball first base A. That's a double play. 3-6-3 double play. 2 quick outs. And we're back to the top of the order for Maury Wills. But they lead 7-1, so I don't think they care. Hello, RJL. 5-5, and that's a ground ball short X. And again, that's McMillan. McMillan is a 2, and we get a 17. So a 2 and a 17 is an out 3, and that will end the inning. Nothing doing for the Dodgers. We go to the 8th. It is Los Angeles 7 and the Milwaukee Braves 1. Drysdale back out. And he will be facing Hank Aaron, followed by Adcock and Matthews. Part of the order for the Braves that they need to make some hay. 6-12, and that's a fly ball to right, 1 away. And RJL, in case I'm sure you probably came in late or whatever, and in case you don't know what this is the Barnes & Noble version special from Strat-O-Matic that I bought this afternoon. That's why the board looks different and everything else. But I did a little unboxing before this game started, if you want to go back and look at that and see what's there. But anyway, that goes for everybody, not just RJL. 3-4 for Adcock. Got to put his card there. 3-4 is a fly to center field, 2 down. 2 up, 2 down, and that's going to bring up Eddie Matthews. That's a 5-9, and that will be a ground ball shortstop X, and we are looking at Maury Wills. Maury Wills is a 2 at shortstop. And that's a 3. 2 and a 3 is an out 1. That's good enough. That's all they need. And that'll take care of Eddie Matthews. So we'll go to the bottom of the 8th, 7-1, your score. Dodgers firmly in control. And Don Notabart Not a Bart. Jim Gilliam, the batter. Followed by Davis and Moon. 5-10 for Not a Bart. Ground ball third base X, Eddie Matthews. Matthews is a 3 at third base, so we're in the middle column. And we get a 16. 3 and a 16 is a one base error on Eddie Matthews. Second error of the game on the Braves. One on Adcock, and now one on Matthews. Puts Gilliam at first base. Nobody out for Tommy Davis. 6-10 for Not a Bart. That's a catcher X. Torrey is a 2 as a catcher. We get a 13. 2 and a 13 is a pass ball followed by a foul out. So we get a pass ball to second, but then a foul out for one away. And that'll take us to Wally Moon. That's a 5-9. That's a strikeout. Out number 2. First strikeout for Not a Bart. 2 down, and that's going to send up Johnny Roseboro. Ooh, that's okay. Rolled back in my chair and almost rolled over Tabby's tail. That would have been disastrous. You would have heard a big scream. 5-9. Another strikeout for Not a Bart to end the inning. Nothing doing for the Dodgers. We go to the 9th for the Braves. Last chance. They trail it 7-1. Drysdale going for the complete game victory. And Frank Bowling will do the leading off. It'll be Bowling, Torrey, McMillan. If anybody gets on, a pinch hitter for Burdette. They do have Bob Uecker on the bench, but I don't think we want to use him. Here's Bowling, 6-6, and that's a 1-6 double. And that's exactly what we have, a leadoff double for Bowling. They will give Drysdale a long leash with a 7-1 lead before they worry about the bullpen. Joe Torre, the batter. 2-7 for Torre, and that's a line out to third. That is snagged over there by Spencer. One away for McMillan. Get a 4-6, and that's a fly to right field, 2 down. So last call is going to be for a pinch hitter for the pitcher, Not a Bart. Let's see who the Braves have left available. Possibly we have Lee May. We have Hank Aaron's brother, Tommy. Some guy named Amato Samuel. We have Del Crandall, the backup catcher. And Dennis Minke, I remember him with the Reds more than anywhere else. And this guy, Bob Uecker. Actually a 250 hitter. You know what? For the hell of it, we're going to have Bob Uecker pinch hit. What the heck? Bob Uecker is going to pinch hit. How many times am I going to play a game where I get to use Bob Uecker? And he's 250 average, so it's not like he's, an automatic out or anything. But Uecker is up. That's a 3-5 for Uecker, and he struck out to end the ball game. Wouldn't you know it? Bob Uecker strikes out to end the game, and the Dodgers win it by the score of 7-1. So I hope you guys are having a great Sunday night. Like I said, normally I do this as a recording, but I knew I was going to Barnes & Nobles and potentially being able to buy this and present it. So I thought it'd be a good time to play the game live. So there's what the box looks like from Barnes & Nobles. Let me see, it says Barnes & Noble exclusive. And like I said, it's even got on this side, it's even got the batch number on it. March 2026. But like I said, if you are interested in this, you do buy this, be careful because they put tape here. And if you peel this tape off, it will take the paint and everything off of this box. It's already started to do that. When I pull this back, you can see the green on the field gets pulled away. So you don't want to do that. You want to leave this on here to keep the coloring. So if you get one of those, be careful of the tape is all I'm saying. And like I said, I did order the extra players. It was when I went, they had the coupon here where you can get the extra players for 75% off with free shipping. So yes, different charts too. RJL, absolutely. It comes with. Put them over here. I guess I got them in here. Did a couple things, RJL. The advanced fielding chart is like cut in half. You can see instead of having a long like this, it's in two pieces. Even the deck of cards, instead of having them in sheets of 9, it's like they cut them in thirds and they pack them this way, so they're in thirds. And then the other noticeable thing, of course, is the advanced strategy charts. They have a greenish color to them. So the ones I've been using, or Strat's been using for who knows how long, look like this. And then these are like this. You know, again, it's because they're more vertical than they are horizontal. So that could be a good thing, I guess. We'll flip this over and get the ground balls and stuff like that. And we'll flip this over and get stealing. Whereas before, you would have all that on one page without flipping it over. But to each their own, I guess, depending on what they like. But anyway, in case anybody came in late, this is what I paid for it on the receipt. I got it for $69.99 and $4.20 in tax. So I paid $74.19 for it. And then I got a coupon. Like I said, this coupon for the additional players. They gave me a code that I've since used. Code to go on here. You go onto the website. You go into the website Strat-O-Matic.com/unlock-players, and you can either do a QR thing or they give you a code here. I put in the code, got the additional players with free shipping. I think it cost me $7 for the additional players. So I'm obviously going to get the additional players and the extra and the regular players and the game board for roughly a price of 74. So you're talking roughly $80, maybe $81, something like that is what's going to cost me. Where if I bought the original game board with the 25 season and the extra players from Strat through the mail, it would be like $115 to $120 to do that. So there you go. Yeah, I'm with you, Thomas. I think this should be offered on to the general public, this setup, because I don't know, the strange thing with me, Barnes and Noble, I'm not a Barnes and Noble person. I would have never gone. I haven't been to Barnes and Nobles for ages. I would never have gone to a Barnes and Nobles except for this. So, and the 2025 set, like I said, I got to figure out something to do with it. I may try to do a one-team replay if I can figure out one team that looks like it might be fun. I don't know. Like I said, they put the cards. They put the cards all instead of the sheet of 9 like they normally do. They're blocked off into thirds, which I think is probably a little bit easier to handle. So they're blocked off into thirds rather than the big thing there. So anyway, there you go. So that's it. There you go. Like I said, Sunday, Basic Sunday. I usually do that offline as a recording. And I did go on. There's a separate code. There's a separate coupon, I should say, that you can go on and get 15% off selected Strat-O-Matic products. I looked up the Strat-O-Matic products, and there were nothing there that I wanted. The only baseball season on there was 1997, and I'm not really not interested in 1997. Plus, you have to pay the regular shipping to get those. I really wasn't interested in that at all. So I am willing to share my code. So the first person that wants to take advantage of that code, BN1779, is more than welcome to do so. I'm not going to redeem it, so you're more than welcome to redeem it if you like. You have to go to Strat-O-Matic.com/bonus savings. That's the website. And when it gives you a drop down, it's like some football game, probably a basketball game, maybe a hockey game, and the 1997 Strat set for baseball. So if you want to use that code, go for it. I'm not going to do it. But if anybody wants to do it, it's a one-time code. You can do it. It's up to you. I'm not going to redeem it, so I'm just going to leave it at that. So this little board is kind of neat. I kind of like it because it's not, for video purposes, it doesn't go so wide that you can't see anything. So I think it's kind of neat. It's definitely different, to say the least. Something, so I give kudos to Strat-O-Matic for thinking outside the box. So anyway, so that's that. So I bought this game so you don't have to. Maybe that's a way to call it. I don't know. But anyway, there we go. It's not as nice as the board you had made at the Ink Gaming, Robert. That's the inside pitch, or the one you use for inside pitch with where you get into the Ink Gaming pad. That's really, really nice, I thought. Looks really good on the video, that's for sure. This was my score sheet at the end of the game. It's really messy, but hey, 7-1 is all you need to know. Next Sunday, for Sunday Basic Sunday, I have no idea what the teams are going to be. We'll figure it out. I'll have to look at the schedule and see who I haven't used yet and who might be an interesting matchup. Kind of figured, since I talked bad about Don Drysdale, that he'd win this game. It's the karma coming back at me, I guess. But anyway, that's going to do it from here. Tomorrow morning, back at the normal grind, or I'd say not grind because it's not a grind, but normal programming with the 1987 American League Strat-O-Matic replay. We will be in the city of Cleveland for this. And it will be if I remember correctly, I believe it's the California Angels and the Cleveland Indians, but don't quote me on it. Let me look it up here real quick before I sign off, and I can tell you who it's going to be. Because what I try to do is the two teams that didn't get on the stream for Friday, I'm going to put them on the stream, obviously, on the next day. So for 1987 American League, we are looking at the June 30th date, last day of June, and it's going to be Phil Niekro and the Cleveland Indians against Jack Lazorko and the California Angels. That'll be the game on Monday. On Tuesday, I'm trying to remember if I got the right order on this. I think on Tuesday it is the Yankees and the Blue Jays. It'll be the major league debut of David Wells for the Blue Jays. He will get the start against Ron Guidry. That'll be on Tuesday. I believe on Wednesday it is Seattle and Texas, and again they didn't play on Friday on the channel, so Seattle, Texas will be on Wednesday. Mark Langston against Mike Lloyd. On Thursday we've got the Tigers and the Brewers. That's Dan Petrie against Mark Clear, and then on Friday we finish up with the Oakland A's and the Chicago White Sox. Jose Rijo against Scott Nielsen, or Minnesota at Kansas City. I haven't decided which game I'm going to play on Friday. Minnesota, Kansas City might be the better game. It's Burt Blyleven against Charlie Leibrandt. So we'll figure all that out as it goes. But certainly tomorrow morning for sure is going to be Cleveland and California. Jack Lazorko against Phil Niekro. Oh, he was on the Beverly Hills. I knew he was on the Brady Bunch. I did not know that he was on the Beverly Hillbillies. That I did not know. That one I did not know. And for those that stuck around for the end, we get another. You get a thing of Tabby, or as RGL calls it, the fluffy cat. There is Tabby. She doesn't seem too happy right now, but she's making some noise here. Nobody wants to see your tail. They'd rather see your face, Tabby. Well, I don't think they want to. Well, you don't care, do you? You just want to make noise. All right, come on. All right. There you go. All right, so that's going to do it from here. I'm going to go ahead and I might keep these in the plastic until the extra players come. That way I can sort them all at one time and go from there. But I really do like this little dice tray. It really fits my purpose. Oh, they were on Dragnet. Okay. Yeah, they had to do something while they were holding out they had to do something to make money. So, of course, I remember Dragnet as well. I think, if I'm not mistaken, didn't Joe Friday have badge number 714 in honor of Hank Aaron? I'm thinking that was the reason he wore badge number 714, but I could be wrong. Like I said, that show was way before my time as well. And of course, Strat-O-Matic rubber bands. And as a public service announcement, friends don't let friends use Strat-O-Matic rubber bands on Strat-O-Matic cards. These are great for PDFs. You can keep some PDFs in play. They're great for the pitcher hitting cards, but I would not put these things on Strat cards. If you care about your Strat cards at all, I would not put these on here. That's just a public service announcement. I think anybody that plays Strat knows that, but it's just interesting. They always throw that out there. So that's going to do it from here. I hope all of you had a great weekend. You're off to a great start on Monday, whatever your plans are. Aside from the 87 during the week, every morning during the week, we will have on Wednesday, I believe it's going to be Wednesday, either Wednesday or Thursday evening, we will have the beginning of the Players Championship. History Maker Golf, the Players Championship, the unofficial fifth major. We'll have the first and second round where we draw for the cut. And that'll be on either Wednesday or Thursday night, one of those two. NBC Game of the Week on Fall Classic will be next Saturday. It will be the Detroit Tigers hosting the California Angels. And then Sunday will be Sunday Basic Sunday, but I have no idea what that will be. So everybody have a great evening, whatever your plans are. My plans are about ready to go to bed. It's almost 11. Even though I'm retired, I still don't stay up very late. I like to keep a normal schedule and get up at a reasonable time. Abby usually doesn't let me sleep in too long. So that's going to do it from here. Hope everybody has a great rest of your evening. And I'm not sure if you're into the hockey, but the hockey, I believe, is 2-1 Vegas. Had a really interesting hockey game last night with Vegas beating Carolina. I don't care about the NBA, so I don't have a clue what the NBA is doing. But and I don't really care about hockey that much either, but I remember seeing the highlights, and it was pretty exciting to see the highlights. And I can watch a whole game in about 10 minutes with the highlights. So that's it. Take care. Tabby says, everybody have a wonderful night. She's had her fill of being on the thing here. Hey, Joe. Oh, he's 70. Wow. Cool. I'm 61, but I hope I make it to 70. I hope so. My mother's 91 or 90, so that's in my favor. But my father did pass away when he was 59, so I'm kind of fighting both sides there as to longevity. But you never know. Got to enjoy life while you can. So thanks to everybody that was here. Appreciate you spending part of your Sunday evening with me. And until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it. And I will see you all down the road. And I'll leave you with a small video I took of Tabby. So I'll leave you guys with that as we sign out. She's just sitting on she likes that little perch by her window. She likes having the window open and getting the fresh air, sitting on a perch, listening to the birds, checking out see if there's a squirrel there or not. That's kind of what she does. So right there in the bedroom, just sits there while I'm watching TV. She just sits there and enjoys herself. So that's going to do it from here. Everybody have a great night. tabby